Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Kashish Mendiratta. In today's video, we will be discussing about the complete flow of how a C++ program starts and executes till the end. So basically what we need is that whenever we are writing something in our language, for example, we have here void main and in that we are just outputting hi. So what we want is that we want a compiler which can convert this code into machine level. Okay, so this machine level code will be fetched into the processor which will run the instructions. So the journey from a high level source code in C++ to a executable file, this is all the scene working behind C++ we will be discussing. So it goes through the various processes. Firstly there are preprocessors. Preprocessor means anything which is done earlier for the before the further processing. So let me demonstrate you with the help of this my file. I have a hello.cpp file. In this I have two defines in which I have two macros. I have defined x as 3 and y as 4, and also I have hash include which includes the iostream file. So these all three are the directives which will be included during the pre-processing. So what it will do is that it will find x in the program and replace with 3, and will find y in the program and will replace it by 4. And what the hash include will do is that it takes the iostream file wherever it is and copy the contents of that file into this file so that we can use the functionality of iostream. So cout we have not defined here, but as we have included the iostream, it comes with that. So let me explain. Let me open my terminal. So I will be explaining the pre-processing part. So for pre-processing, what we have to do is that G++ is the compiler. So we are passing the E as a flag, and we just want to check how it will look after the pre-processing. So it will be hello.cpp file, and we want output of this file into some other file, and the pre-processing directive files end with .ii in case of C++. So let's do that. Okay, so we get a file. It has a lot of lines because we have included the iostream and it has a lot of files. Let's look at the last part which we most care about. So see here, this is our example. In this, x was 3 and y was 4, but after the pre-processing has happened, it has included the iostream. So it is about 25,000 plus lines, and the above line was all about iostream and it has a lot of code. And what it has done here is that it has replaced x by 3 and y by 4. So wonderful. So the basic benefit of this is that we can define some variables which are used in a lot of things and which may change somewhere. So we do that here. So we have seen that how the pre-processing part, how after the pre-processing the file looks. So the next part is of the compiler. So pre-processing part is done. So next part is the compiler. So what compiler do is that, so compiler takes the high level source code after the preprocessor has done its processing and convert into a language which microprocessor understands, means assembly language. So let me tell you how assembly language looks like. So this is the code of assembly language. So it if you might have done microprocessor, you might recall that this is how we write the assembly language. This is how we can directly communicate with the microprocessor, and then there is the assembler which converts that into a machine code. So firstly understand that how our code is going to be compiled and reaching this assembly language state. So the next step is to convert into .s files. I am just demonstrating how it is going inside. We are just running the C++ program and it is giving us output, but these are the steps which go behind the hood. So the next part is we want to see the output at .s file, means after the compilation what should be the output. Let's see that. So to find that, what we have to do is that we have to pass, instead of .e, we have to pass the s flag. So it will return the output which will be the .s file. So see that our this code, this is for the extra purpose. So this is saying that our this code has been first created into the pre-directive. So C++, let's open all the files. So first, this was the first version of the file. Then internally it was converted into pre-directive. It was pre-processed and this was formed. And after that, this pre-processed file was fed into the compiler and it modifies into this file. So this was a assembly language code which you might have seen in your microprocessors. This is move, which means moving the contents of this into this. This is subtract. This is calling the function, and you can recall that. So this was the code which is more difficult to understand. So we are writing here and compiler does all the part. So once the code has been compiled, what is the next step? How? So we are here, means we have now assembly code with us. So what next happens is that assembler converts that into an object. So object is the machine level code which is in only zeros and one forms, which it directly processor understands. If we process, now you will say that we are processing this to microprocessor when we directly use microprocessor, but there is a assembler in microprocessor also which converts that into a machine code, because eventually the processor has to execute 10 statements. Okay, so now we will see how we can reach to the next stage, which is making the object of a given file. So for making the object means we are compiling that. So we are passing the C flag and hello.cpp. It will create a object file for us. Yeah, so this is the object file. So we are not able to see it. Yeah, so it is giving some random symbols, but entirely it is a encrypted form. So we have to decrypt it to read this. It is actually, believe me, it's in the form of zeros and ones. These all are zeros and one which a computer will understand. So now we have reached that, we have everything is ready. So now our code, which was this, now the code is in this form. So this form is actually in the form of zeros and ones. So now our code has been changed into the zeros and ones only. So this can directly fed into the microprocessor, so it will execute, no issue. So you might think that this is the end of the program, just fed these lines to the microprocessor and it will do its job and just finish the program. But also there is something. For example, we have two files and we have one function in one file and we are using that in other file. So we may not be able to use that. Let me illustrate with you. Let's say I want to do sum. So I made a file sum.cpp, and in that I just have one function which will return the sum of two elements. So when and now I want to use it in hello.cpp. Let's say I want to use this. So do you think it will work fine? I don't think so. Let's compile this file. So let's see. Here it is giving an error. Why? Because we have not declared sum 2,3 here. The compiler don't know that where is the sum 2 and 3. So here comes a linking part. We need to link that, because whenever a function is executed, that should be found. Now what we can do is that we can add void sum in command the function declaration, and now it should work fine. It should compile. No, it is not. Okay. Okay, we have written void. So instead, let me write int. Now it should work fine. Yeah, no error, means it has compiled. Now you will say that sum 2,3 is not defined in this particular module, but how it is not giving an error? It should give an error. The reason is that whenever compilation occurs, it just scans this code. This doesn't link to any other file. So when this statement occurs, it just knows that there is a function 2,3. It looks whether it's a declared somewhere or not, and it finds that it's declared. So it don't check that whether there is a definition or not, it just check the declarations. So it finds that, then it don't gives an error, because this is not the executable part, this is the compiled part. What this get is, this is the compiled part, this has not been executed. If this statement has been executed by the processor, only then it would have given an error. Now to execute a statement, we have to give the -o flag, and where we have to file, let's say I want to store that in hello. So now it is giving an error. Why? Because now -o means we are executing the complete file. So it has compiled successfully. This is the compiled version. It is not giving an error. But when we execute this file, it is giving an error, because in the compilation it doesn't care that whether the function definition is there or not. It just finds the declaration. So it finds the declaration and converts that into the 0 and 1 codes. But the real part is, when the function execute, it has to get through the linker stage, where it links every function to every function call to its every function, means link between the objects. So it is giving us an error. So this is the reason why it is failing. So now the thing is that how we can solve this problem. So now we have so let's just comment this line and see what is the output. Now we are finding the output. So we have, let's save that first. Now we are running this file and we get an executable file. The first step was getting preprocessed file, second step was getting the assembly code, third step was getting the machine code, and after the machine code, that goes into a linker. So this was the linker. So after the object file is created, that goes into the linker, where it combines with other objects, and every function associates with every function call is associate with its function definition. So now executable file have come, so we can run that and see that whether it has some issue or not. Yeah, so we are getting this hello 3 4, because we have not added any space, so it is writing this like this. So there is no error. So this is a simple process, means how the things go behind the hook, and this is simple explanation of how C++ works behind the hook. So first let me recall that in the next video I will be telling more about linker and combining these two files. So winding up, firstly we have C++ code and it has to pass through preprocessor, and preprocessor replace all the macros and include all the required files. So this is after preprocessing, and after that it is being changed into the assembly language code, and here is the assembly language code, and after from here it is moved into the object file, and this is how the object file looks. It's a encrypted form. It's by the way in the 0 and 1 form, and after the object file is created, it links with its function definitions and other objects. We will see this part in the next video. It's very important. And after that, executable is produced, and we can directly run an executable. And it gives us the result. So this was all about the working of C++, what goes behind the hood. So I hope you liked my videos. Okay, meet you in the next video.